gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike and Sid proudly bring to you the best podcast in the world, episode 10. I am Sid, he is Mike. This is the best podcast. We have made it to episode 10. And if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Hate to see it. Mike, we're here. It is Wednesday, episode 10. How's it going?
It's good, Sid, but that's 4 words.
What's 4 words?
Hate to see it.
Yeah, it's a good point. Did you know what I was doing there?
I sure did, of course.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, one of the greatest tag teams in wrestling. That was their, I guess, entrance, what they used to say before matches. So I wanted to kick it off like that. So how was your week, Mike?
I had a great week. A few weeks ago on this show, I mentioned to you that Jordan Spieth is my favorite golfer, and you didn't know that. And I showed you a clip of Spieth getting a hole-in-one. It was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Well, this past weekend, there was a tournament, the Valero Open in Waco, Texas, and Spieth won the tournament. And this was his first PGA Tour victory in almost 4 years. It was a big deal. He was dominant. His putter is on fire. When Spieth's putter is going from that 10-foot to 25-foot range, he's the best in the world. He gets a lot of birdies from that range. So it was really awesome to see him win. This is a former number 1 player in the world. He has 3 majors, including the Masters, which starts tomorrow, which I'm extremely excited for. And he plays really well at that course. A lot of people are predicting he could win there for the second time. I am super psyched for that. Plus, this is a big week for professional wrestling.
It is. But before you get into it, I was just going to say, I'm glad you brought up golf. Sorry to interrupt. But for those who may not know, that was supposed to be our episode. Episode 10 was going to be about golf. But we've been filming a lot. We've been having a lot of shows close together. And I said, Mike, let's not do it. Let's make the 10th one extra special. Mike, talk about that.
Yeah, so this is our 10th episode, which is awesome. I'm really happy that we made it this far. And yeah, I think it's a good idea for the 10th episode to do something special, do something that we can all contribute equally to. If we did the golf topic, I would basically be having to carry the brunt of that because you're Correct. Not a big golf fan as I am, which isn't a problem for a normal episode, but because like you did the UFC episode and that was fine. And I did the NASCAR episode and that was fine. So we'll have episodes like that. But this episode, we wanted it to be a little bit special because this weekend is WrestleMania.
That's right. 2 nights. And then you know what? We're going to talk about this later, but it's the first live wrestling show for WWE this year, which is a big deal.
Yeah, there's going to be fans in attendance. This is going to be the first event that they've had fans in attendance since before WrestleMania last year. I mean, since the pandemic started, basically, whenever I think their last live event was a Raw last year before WrestleMania. And then they've just been doing, for a while, they were doing these empty arena shows, which were terrible, I thought, at least.
Correct.
And then they introduced the Thunderdome, which we've talked about before, which are these screens in the arena where fans can kind of Skype into these giant screens and interact with the matches. You've participated in the Thunderdome before.
I have.
I think it's kind of cheesy, but it's cool. It's better. It works. So yeah, this is going to be in Tampa at what is it, Raymond James Stadium?
That is correct. Where the Bucs won the Super Bowl. So I'm excited. And at first, when you said 4 words, I thought you were saying like FORWARDS. So I wasn't sure what we were talking about, but you meant 4 words.
4 words, yes.
Yeah, hate to see it. I was so excited, I got nervous, and I butchered that opening, but I gave it my best shot. You do hate to see it. But this is a special episode. Special things need to happen, and we're gonna have our second ever guest host. Do you want to talk about
it? Yeah. Should I introduce him?
Yeah, introduce him.
All right,
This
is our friend Steve Scalise, who is a big pro wrestling fan, as are we, and we thought it'd be perfect opportunity to bring in a guest to help us out to discuss WrestleMania, and I think we're gonna do this episode in two halves. We discussed the first part of the episode. We're gonna discuss our top WrestleMania matches of all time. And here he is.
Hey, what's going on?
There he is.
The greatest of all time.
Wow, look at that background.
You like that?
That is awesome.
Hey, let's put this on full display here. The Winged Eagle.
Wow, that's sweet.
Is that your favorite version of the WWE Championship?
Oh, without question.
Oh, it's the best.
This is the classic, man.
I don't know why they don't just bring it back. That would be awesome if they brought it back.
Steve is outdoing us. He's got a whole setup. This looks cool. I'm loving it. That's why it's appropriate that you're the special guest today.
Well, you got some Funko Pops. I recognize Taker. I think I see Warrior, Macho Man, Hitman, Bret Hitman, the Hitman Hart.
Yep.
Some of them I can't tell who they are. Who's the one on the bottom left? Yeah.
This Mr. McMahon there. Vinnie Mac.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
There you go.
Vinnie Mac. Yeah, there's no Ultimate Warrior, but you might have seen Razor Ramon.
Oh, I think it was, okay. It might have been Hulk Hogan, actually.
Oh, yeah, the Hulkster. Yep.
And I got a Vinnie Mac story to talk about.
Is that Scott Hall? Is that Razor Ramon on the bottom there?
Yep. And the great one. Yep. Bret Hart and Stone Cold up top.
Nice. I've just got my one Becky Lynch Funko Pop.
And I think that's your only Funko Pop. Am I correct?
Yes.
Mike?
Yeah, that's correct. I don't have any others.
Steve and I love Funko Pops. I have a shit ton. He's got a shit ton. So respect.
Indeed.
But welcome to our
guys.
show. This is a huge honor for us. You know,
a huge honor for me. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Podcast has been great. It's been great. I've been watching every episode. You guys are doing a great job. I love the show.
No, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us at a somewhat late hour. We sometimes have to record on the later side because Sid is on the West Coast.
No worries.
But no, I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining. This is very special. And we talk about you a lot in our podcasts. Like we mentioned Steve, we mentioned Scalise. So it's cool that the viewers, can see the man behind the name.
I'm real. I exist in the flesh.
He does. So I'm really pumped. But one thing, before we start, you brought up Vince McMahon. And as we all know, Vince McMahon, he's the guy behind, wrestling maybe. WWE, he's the legend. He's the boss. And with WrestleMania, the big thing's the card, right? And we're going to talk about the card.
Yep.
And for people that are not fans, the card means like the matches that get set up. And a lot of times, Vince McMahon will make a decision that changes the card. Because as we know, card is always subject to change. And Vince loves changing things up. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. So I really wanted to start this topic off by talking about that. Like one example of a good change was, and I guess I know you both will agree, when Daniel Bryan was added to the championship match because the fans were behind him. The yes, yes, yes movement.
The yes movement, WrestleMania 30, yeah.
It was great.
Yep.
Vince added him, he won, fans were pumped. And again, this year, last minute, he added Daniel Bryan again. Now, it's not similar. I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to win, but still, it's a last minute change.
Well, we're going to definitely talk about that match.
We are. We are.
Last minute change, but there's a lot to talk about with that.
There is, but before that, I'm going to pull Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Oh, no.
I'm going to change things up. I'm going to do things differently because this is the 10th episode. This is a special episode. We can't just do the standard. We got to make things even more exciting. And Steve is exciting. Mike is exciting. But I just wanted to make it even more. I wanted to do that Vince McMahon type of move to just make this special. Just make this more appealing to our fans. Because at the end of the day, this is our 10th episode. And we've got a special guest.
Oh, my God.
This is a fatal four-way, boys.
Oh, no.
This is
not real?
This is real. We're waiting for him to connect. We see his icon. Looks like it's the Sad Mats, but let's see the face behind it.
Is it Daniel Bryan?
Holy shit!
Oh, shit.
Look who it is. I think you're a mute.
Oh,
I am on mute.
yes.
Hello, gentlemen.
Brian Helbin.
What is going on, Brian?
That's awesome.
Yo, Mike, no, Steve, yo, Sid, what's up, brothers?
What's going on, Brian?
This is a
Nothing
surprise to
much.
me, and this is my show.
Woo! I'm ready, baby. I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
Nice.
That's
Thanks
right.
for joining
Look at that
us.
shirt.
That shirt is great.
Woo! It's very busy.
Nice. I like the background. That's cool.
Look,
But I got it off WWE.com, baby.
Nice.
our guests are outshining us. Both Steve and Brian have cool backgrounds, and we just got basic shit. But for me, I don't want to be outnumbered. I feel like both Steve and Mike would be baby faces. So I needed another heel. I needed someone to be on my side to make things crazy. And for people that don't know, this guy, he became our friend through Steve Castagna, another Fairfield guy. So we met Brian in college. He used to do a lot of crazy New Year's Eve parties that Mike and I have attended.
Hell yeah.
Those were awesome.
Those were awesome. And one more quick story, and then we'll kick it off. You know, as you guys can imagine, a lot of people slide into my DMs, just natural, right? And then I eventually delete them. But I was looking at my last saved DM, or my last DM that I didn't delete. It was actually a message from Brian 2 years ago before WrestleMania. So how fitting is that we're talking about WrestleMania, and now he's here. So welcome, Steve. Welcome, Brian. This is awesome.
This is
Glad
great.
to be here, guys.
It's too sweet.
That's right. So, Mike,
All
are you
right.
surprised?
I'm very surprised. This is awesome, though. So before Steve joined, I was sort of explaining what we were going to do, and now we're going to have to alter it a little bit. We were going to break the show into two halves. The first half we were going to do greatest WrestleMania matches of all time, and we were each going to pick 3 matches. Are we still going to do that, Sid? 3.
You can still do it, yeah.
All right. And then the second half, we're just going to discuss WrestleMania 37 and our thoughts on that. So you want to kick it off? I was thinking we'll start. Maybe we could do like a snake draft order. We could each pick a match, starting with Sid, then me, Steve, Brian. Brian, you could do 2 in a row, and then we'll go reverse order.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Sounds
Sounds
good.
great.
And what's cool is these guys are probably the biggest wrestling fans that we know, that you and I know, Mike, right? Would you agree?
For sure.
I know both those guys have attended a lot of wrestling events, been there live.
One of the first WrestleManias I'm going to miss.
I know. In the chat, he was saying he doesn't miss WrestleManias.
I don't. I got all my ringside seats right in the corner somewhere.
How many have you been to?
I've been to 6 so far. So I have like 6 ringside seats sitting in the corner. I use them for Thanksgiving dinner. So,
Nice.
you know, they come in handy at some point.
Yeah. Nice.
Even Steve has those chairs. I've never got one of those chairs.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
we used ours for Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house too. So
That's good. You love to see it. So am I starting, Mike?
Yeah, why don't you kick it off, Sid?
All right, one I want to talk about, and it's going to be funny because there's a running joke between Brian and I. Like, it's all of us about this guy who sadly passed away. But this is one of my favorites because I was there, WrestleMania 20, when he used to always go to MSG. Every 10 years, I think they used to have an MSG. It was great. But now they want to be outdoors and whatnot. I wish they would go back to MSG. But it was Chris Benoit who would have wanted it this way. He would have wanted you guys to be on here today. Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Triple threat match. Chris Benoit finally won the big one. Great match. You got two of them are like some of the best wrestlers of all time, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, like without a doubt. So you can't go wrong when you have those two guys wrestling. And then you add Benoit, who had never won the big title at WWE. So when he finally won it, like that was such an emotional moment. And then his other friend who passed away, Eddie Guerrero, was also champion at that WrestleMania. So it was a big time. It was really cool to see them both embrace afterwards. You guys remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was that card on paper was good, but some of the matches disappointed, unfortunately. Like you had the Goldberg versus Brock, which was an epic fail. Stone Cold as a ref. But then the Angle Eddie Guerrero match was a classic. The Benoit and the Triple Threat match was a classic. So that's my first one. That's what I wanted to start this conversation off with.
Sick. Yeah, I was there. Mania 20. garden, halfway like up in the arena. I was sitting there by myself because my now wife didn't want to come with me. So yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. That was like one of the first WrestleManias I remember where it was a really long one. Every WrestleMania before that was like 2.5, 3 hours. This one was like 4.5 hours. The detriment to that card was too long. It was such a long card. I think 16 or 17 matches. Most of them were like hot garbage.
Yeah.
But then, you had like those gems, like you mentioned, like Angle and Guerrero, and then Benoit finally winning the title. It was kind of a, this finally these two guys got that title. So I thought that was a great Mania.
Awesome. So who's next? I forgot the order, Mike.
Yeah, that'll be me. I'm gonna go with WrestleMania 17, the TLC match with Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boyz, and the Hardy Boys. That was the second ever TLC match. The first one was at SummerSlam the year before, and they perfected it with their second try. And the spots some of the spots are just legendary. People still talk about them. One of the things about this match is with ladder matches these days, sometimes the timing is just terrible. You have someone climbing up the ladder and someone else doesn't get there in time. They're supposed to knock them off the ladder and they have to like climb up real slowly up the ladder so that they don't just like grab the title. And none of that happens in this match. The timing on all the spots is perfect. It's just perfectly planned out, perfectly executed. You have one of the most insane spots I've ever seen. Jeff Hardy doing a swanton bomb off the top of a ladder outside the ring. And that was topped by the finish of the match, which is Hardy again. He's dangling from the belts and Edge climbs up atop of a ladder and spears him. And it just blew people's minds. It's still one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history.
Yeah, that one doesn't leave your mind. That's just one of those moments in time that it's just always there.
Favorite Manias.
Yeah.
That is a great, just all-time great Mania overall.
Best Mania of all time.
Yeah. So you guys obviously remember that one.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
top of the card to the bottom. Excellent.
Yeah, so good. I mean, that match alone, those three teams, like arguably the three greatest. I mean, three of the most decorated tag teams in history. Like, not counting the Legion of Doom or the Steiners or those guys, but I mean the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, like the three greatest tag teams of all time in one match at a WrestleMania with ladders and chairs and tables. It's just, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Like, what happens now? Like, the tag teams now suck. They constantly make new tag teams. Like, they've lost the art of tag team. Like, it used to be so good there. But
their division sucks now, man.
Yeah,
it does.
You got nothing.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, you have
Especially
AJ.
the women's division.
Yep. Who's next, Mike? Lead it. Push us through.
Steve, it's your turn.
awesome. I'm so glad you guys didn't take this match. So I'm a little biased because this match is my two favorite wrestlers of all time.
I know what it is.
WrestleMania 13, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart in a submission match. This match is, in many people's minds, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. It is for me. At this time, Austin he had already gained a lot of momentum, but this was really the pinnacle of, he was ready, just about to take off from this point on. And Bret, gave him that platform. Bret was making the turn on the other side. This match obviously famous for the double turn, right? One of the best one probably in history. Bret was leaning towards that way leading into Mania. Obviously he got screwed at the Rumble by Austin. Got the title back for a day, lost it back to Sid. Austin screwed him again on that one.
You lost it to me?
Yeah, he lost it to Sid. That's right. It's just, you had Ken Shamrock involved as the guest referee, which was, perfect for a submission match. He was coming over he was pretty hot in the UFC at that time, one of their top stars. just a tremendous match. It had brawling, it had technical wrestling. Austin is bleeding like a stuffed pig from his head.
Yeah.
The classic visual of the blood from the stone while he's in the sharpshooter, and he doesn't give up. He passes out. It's just, I don't know. It gets me emotional even talking about it.
I know. So look at you. I love this.
So good.
Yeah, I was gonna. I mean, that has to be on the list. That match. I think it is probably the greatest WWE match of all time. I figured someone else was gonna bring it up, so I'd let you guys take care of that. One of the interesting things about that match is it is it's a submission match between one of the greatest submission wrestlers of all time and someone who is not at all a submission wrestler.
That's right.
So that you have that aspect to it.
Right.
But Austin, he was game, and you could argue that was really what kicked off the Attitude Era.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was
an awesome match.
Yep, definitely.
All right, I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
So I'm going to do 2 in a row. Is that how we're going to go?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right, cool. Well, personal favorite of mine, not because it was a great match, but just being there. Mania 30, Brock and Taker. I was sitting there, New Orleans, with my wife. Took a long time to get into that stadium. I think it took about an hour and a half to actually walk through the stadium to get to our seats. It was so overpacked. We were just so exhausted when we got to our seats. My wife was crying because it was like so claustrophobic in that area. But when we finally got to our seats, sat down, we had that legendary moment when you had Hogan and Stone Cold and The Rock come together, started talking, electrifying the crowd. Awesome. But then you got to Brock and Taker. Everyone thought, Taker was going to win. And then all of a sudden, Brock finally beats Taker. I was talking to my wife during the match because I didn't think it was going to end. And then all of a sudden you hear the 1, 2, 3, and it's like, whoa, damn, match has ended. Silence. Never heard silence like that before. I mean, probably on TV, it didn't really capture that as much, but it was total dead silence in the arena. Just being there, that moment, that was like that WrestleMania moment, being in that arena. And that was just a great moment in my mind. Doesn't have to be a great match, just a great moment. But that was my choice for that one.
That's fitting because I think the approach I'm also taking is I want to pick matches that I saw live. Not necessarily doesn't have to mean I was there, but like I actually saw it on TV or I was there. Because when you see it for the first time, it's extra special. Like the emotions hit. You don't know what's going to happen. You haven't heard through the rumor mill, or you haven't heard from like stories over the years like this is a great match. So you're not sure what's going to happen, and when it delivers, it's just a beautiful moment.
Absolutely.
And I can't believe you were there. You saw the streak.
Yeah,
finished.
man.
So what was it like? People were shocked when that happened. What was the reaction?
I mean, dead silence. Nobody was talking at all. Everyone kind of thought it was a mistake at first because it took them a long time to flash that 21-1 on the screen. It took them a really long time to do that, a few minutes. So everyone kind of thought it was a mistake at first. But yeah, my wife didn't really get it at the time, but it was just shocking to me that he kind of lost that match, and out of nowhere too. Thought it was going to be like Roman Reigns. A few years later, Roman beat Taker at 33. So I thought that should have been the fitting ending to Taker's career, have Roman beat him, because that was a great send-off too with Taker, and I was there in Orlando also. But Mania 30, Brock and Taker, that's my first choice.
Yeah, Brock really got a lot of credibility. I mean, he already had credibility, but even more by ending the streak. And WWE really relied on him in the years after that. He had a number of really long title reigns, and he had that credibility. It all comes back to that match. So in retrospect, you could argue that it was the right decision, but it was certainly shocking at the time.
Sid, do you think it was the right decision? I'm curious. I know Bryan says he thinks Reigns should have taken it, and Big seems to think it was the right decision. Do you think, Sid, it was or no?
I don't know. I think he should have always had it. I think the streak was just
never should have ended.
Never should have ended. Yeah, but again, it created a special moment at the end of the day. We're talking about it today, but it would have just been beautiful if he just retired with the perfect streak.
Yeah, I agree.
But one other thing I was going to bring up, because Bryan mentioned it about Roman versus Taker. I used to mess with Steve. I was like, Steve, now that Roman won, he's going to take the Taker hat and he's going to become Taker 2.0. He's going to be the new Taker. Because at that time, people were hating on Roman. He's doing great now, but Taker 2.0.
One of my favorite wrestlers now, Roman, man, head of the table.
That's right.
Right.
So I guess I'll go with my second one.
Yeah.
When I was little kid, I'm going to bring it back old school. Hogan and Warrior WrestleMania 6. That was the classic, babyface and babyface. I was a huge Hulkamaniac back in the day. But this was the ultimate, handing off the torch to somebody else. The crowd was electric for that. Two of the greatest icons ever in the sport, at least at the time. But yeah, I mean, that is the definition of a WrestleMania main event. Next one after that, had to be Hogan and Rock, but that electricity between those two, off the charts. But that's my second Mania match.
I like it. So I think I'm going next.
No. It's gonna be Steve. We're gonna
really?
We're going in reverse order.
Interesting.
Like a snake draft.
Oh yeah, right. Good point. You son of a bitch. Don't pick mine. Don't pick mine.
No, I won't. I just wanted to say, so the Hogan Warrior WrestleMania 6 match, that's my first real memory of a WrestleMania as a kid. I had I think 4 I had maybe on VHS, and I'd probably go back and watch it, but watching 6 live was my first memory. So that always holds a special place in my heart. I love going back and watching that Hogan versus Warrior match for sure. That was a good pick, Brian. I will stay, and then Brian mentioned it, I will stay in the city of Toronto, and I will fast forward to WrestleMania 18, Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock. Just a spectacle of a match. You had Hogan coming back to the WWE, with the NWO this time. For the first time since WrestleMania 9. So I think it's been 9 years. So the fans were eagerly anticipating his return to that big event. And of course you had The Rock, him and Austin were still probably the 2 biggest stars in the company at that time. And it was a good story leading up to it. I remember the NWO nailing an ambulance that The Rock was in the back of with a tractor trailer. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah. Crazy stuff leading up to the match. And then just the crowd for the match is what made it for me. They were so into it. They went against The Rock. They loved Hogan. It was a nostalgic crowd. Hogan passed the torch, which was, the right finish for that match. Just a spectacle. Wasn't the best technical match, but it was a spectacle, and it's to me that's what WrestleMania is all about.
No, it's a great one.
Yeah, it really is a perfect WrestleMania match. It's what you want. That's what you tune into WrestleMania for.
Just watch the clips. Just watch. The fans were just outrageous. They were going crazy. They were eating it up. I was watching on Twitter the other day. Wow. I miss those crowds. I miss those fans. Hopefully we can get back to that one day.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I've been in a little bit of a lull with WWE since COVID.
Yeah, me too.
Because for me, the crowds are such a huge part of the show, and not having them there. I know you've got the Thunderdome and you got the fans on the screens, but and at the NXT you have some of the wrestlers around the ring, but it's not the same.
Brian, have you been in a Thunderdome?
No, but I am with Steve though in it's raw is snore, man. It is unbearable. Barely can get through it. During COVID, the fans are, the whole part of the process. It's bad right now. It's very hard to pay attention to it. SmackDown is really good. Raw is can barely get through it. But yeah, no, I'm with Steve with it's just very hard to get through it in the COVID era wrestling. And this is probably the least excited I'm about a WrestleMania, at least the card itself. Few matches here and there I'll enjoy, but probably the least pumped I am of WrestleMania all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
All right, Mike.
All right. So I'm going to go to another WrestleMania 30 match. the main event, which we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Randy Orton. This was what has been referred to as the reality era of WWE, where fans, due to the internet, had become increasingly aware of what's going on behind the scenes in terms of how storylines are written. And Batista comes back to WWE for the first time in 4 years. He immediately wins the Royal Rumble, and the fans, they don't want this. They are behind Daniel Bryan. They make their voices heard with the yes movement and basically force Vince McMahon's hand, and Daniel Bryan gets inserted into the main event. But first he has to beat Triple H the same night.
That was a
at
great
WrestleMania,
match.
which itself was a great match,
Yeah,
which also is worthy of consideration. But I like the main event a little bit better just because of the finish, which is you have Batista gets the Batista bomb on Orton, and then Bryan gets the running knee, gets him in the yes lock. Batista taps. Bryan is celebrating. There's confetti. There's fireworks. I think it's just probably the best moment in modern WWE. It was just a great moment.
The Miracle on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was there, man.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So what do I do? So I go 2 now? Is that the freaking rules?
Yes.
All right, so I gotta make it count because I got 2. So this could be my favorite one because I think this is a match that got even non-fans excited. 2 of the greatest at the Attitude Era, Rock, Stone Cold, WrestleMania 17. Classic. This is the second match that they wrestled at WrestleMania. Like, I was so excited leading up to this WrestleMania. I was telling people that didn't even watch wrestling, I'm like, you have to come to my house. We're going to watch it. This is going to be amazing. And some of these people had never even watched wrestling. But when this match started, they were all hooked. Everyone was pumped. Everyone was excited. Like, Stone Cold and The Rock, just, they sell. Like, they make you engaged. They just bring the best out of each other. And then you had Vince McMahon coming in the end, and you guys thought, like, he's going to screw Stone Cold because that's generally what happened. But he didn't. He helped Stone Cold. Stone Cold won. It was a perfect match, in my opinion. Like, you had chair shots. You had, like, every element. You had the stunner, rock bottoms, the selling of those guys. Like, no one sells a stunner like The Rock. Like, it is hilarious, some of the sales that he does. But again, like, that's a match that you can watch with a person that's not a fan, and they would appreciate it. So that's why that's on my list.
Yeah, it's a classic match, which I thought about bringing up, but I figured somebody else would. I also love that they each do their the other's signature moves on the other during that match. Stone Cold turning heel for the first time in like 4 years was a shocker. I think people were into it at the time, but that was in retrospect not a good choice, I don't think. But at the time, it was great. Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those were the 2 biggest stars in the company. Classic match.
Now, the next one, I know you all are going to agree. I think I'm stealing this one from a lot of you guys. But this is one of the best matches of all time. Like, it had every element. Like, when you check off things like you want to see in a match, this had. And I'm sorry I'm stealing it, but it's John Cena versus Rusev. Like,
are you serious?
He came out in a tank, man.
That's right. That tank was cool. Didn't he have sex with Lana apparently in that tank?
Yeah, probably. He's a sex addict. You know?
He is. Like, when fans give him shit, he's like, I had sex with Lana in that tank. But no, I'm going to talk about Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels. Jericho is probably my favorite wrestler of all time. This guy can reinvent himself countless times, and he has been doing it. Like, constantly just brings it. He's the first, was it Universal Champion? Is that what they called it? No, what was the title? The name
Undisputed.
That's right, Undisputed Champion. Like, who would have thought that he would beat The Rock, Stone Cold? Was Triple H in that tournament too?
No, it was just 4 guys. He beat Austin and Rock in the
same night. Okay.
The same night. Like, who thought that would happen? And then when Jericho made his debut in WWE, or was it WWF at the time? Who the hell remembers? But when he made his debut, that's like one of the most iconic debuts of all time. That Y2J entrance. Like I remember like going to that night, like there were rumors Jericho was finally gonna come. He's finally gonna come. And I got so happy when he did. Now he's killing it in AEW, which I'm a huge fan. I love that company. He is with the I can't even think right now. Whatever his
The Inner Circle.
the Inner Circle.
Come on, I thought you were in the Inner Circle. You couldn't even remember the name of it.
I know. I'm tired. Even though it's later for you guys. He's in the Inner Circle now. Mike Tyson came to the going back. Shawn Michaels hasn't wrestled in a couple of years. He is back. People were worried if he could wrestle again, if his back was going to hold up, but he did it. They had a fantastic match. Two of the best of all time. Like Shawn Michaels, people might say is the best. Like, you know, that argument can be made. But again, classic, all-time, one of the best matches. Love both guys. Really happy to see that match.
Man, that was a long feud too. I remember that took up the whole year, HBK and Shawn Michaels. It was Mania 19, I think you were referring to. And they had a bunch of matches that year. Classic feud. Awesome. Good pick.
And that's what you miss. You don't have these feuds anymore. Like a lot of times, like things happen very quick. Like I feel like fans today, social media, they don't have the patience for these long feuds. They just want things quick. And like it's an element that I miss. Like I miss things that take a long time. Like eventually this will lead to a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. Long-term storytelling is something that's been going for a while in WWE, and it I think we all miss it because it's something you can get invested in. It makes you want to watch and see how it ends up at the end. You're glued in every week, and that's just something that they're lacking for recent history. They have been.
Yeah, once we talk about WrestleMania 37, I have a lot to say about that because there has been abysmal long-term storytelling.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. So I guess it's my turn, huh? For my last pick.
I think it's my turn, right?
Okay, we're going with you. All right,
Sid, isn't that right?
Yeah,
I have no fucking clue. I
don't we're doing the snake.
Snake order. Yeah, you're up.
The snake.
Okay, so this is a match, another HBK match. I rewatched it last night. I hadn't seen it in a while. In college, I think I downloaded it on LimeWire to watch it. This was WrestleMania 21. Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. And very simple storytelling here. That year, Shawn Michaels eliminates Angle in the Royal Rumble. Angle already is just pissed off at Michaels because Michaels and others refer to him as the best wrestler in the company. And Angle, he won a gold medal at the Olympics with a broken frickin' neck, and that just doesn't sit right with him. So that's the story. Very simple storytelling. This match, they just put on a clinic. The match starts out with a lot of mat wrestling, which obviously Angle is great at. You don't see Michaels do that, but he's great at it too. One spot I had forgotten about happens towards the end of the match. Angle is laid out on the announce table. Michaels hops onto the middle rope and does a springboard, leaps onto Angle. He has to clear like 8 feet to do this. Jeez. And lands on Angle and lands on Angle, and the table doesn't break. So that couldn't have felt great. Just, you don't see Michaels do those kind of spots. That was awesome. Another awesome spot in the match is Angle does a angle slam from the top rope. Insane. Then the finish is great. HBK does the Sweet Chin music. At the time, you remember, was super protected. I mean, that almost always finished matches back in the day. I mean, these days, super kicks are just like a normal move.
It's a party.
So Angle barely gets his shoulder up. It's like 2.9, and he gets his shoulder up, and then gets him into the ankle lock, and and Michaels taps. It's just a perfect finish. It's a classic match. It holds up.
So you watched it last night?
Yeah.
On the amazing
on Peacock,
app?
which was a nightmare to get working.
Yeah. Peacock is pretty horrible for me so far.
Do you guys remember that match though?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just a sexy Kurt. I'll make your ankle hurt. Hell yeah.
And it was in the Staples Center, which you mentioned MSG, but the atmosphere in the Staples Center was also awesome. I wish they would go back to arenas for WrestleManias.
100% agree, man. I don't like the big places. It's just, it tones it down. The crowd doesn't reverberate as much. Yeah, I love the little arenas.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, all right, now I go.
No, it's Steve. Sorry, Brian.
Damn it.
Oh my God.
Snake, man.
The
Snake.
2 count.
Yeah, I don't like the snake. I don't get it.
All right, so there's one still on the board that I'm surprised is still there, but I don't think I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go down my list a little bit further because I like the story for this one a little better. I'm going WrestleMania 24, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. Ric Flair's retirement match, obviously, we all know. The story leading up to this one, Ric Flair was basically on his last circle around wrestling. Every match was his, if he lost, it'd be his final match, and he'd had to be forced to retire per Vince McMahon, if I'm remembering it correctly. So he was surviving. He was beating, I think he beat like MVP at the Rumble that year. He had beat Mr. Kennedy. He was knocking guys down and hanging on for dear life. And then Vince came down and ordered him that he'd have to go against Shawn at Mania, I believe, which obviously was going to be his tallest task to date with his career on the line. And the match was nothing short of amazing. Flair's entrance with the blue robe and the fireworks in the background is still, I can still see that. I can close my eyes and see that image. That was amazing. He had his family at ringside. Just a great match. I think Flair was one of Shawn's idols, growing up and getting into the business. So it was kind of fitting that he was the one to end his career. The finish of the match, with Flair hanging on by a thread and he's basically crying his eyes out, and he gets up and he's asking to be hit with the sweet chin music. And Shawn tells him, I'm sorry and I love you. And then he finishes him, and that's it. And Flair's
What
done.
storytelling.
It was great storytelling. And it just shows you it really doesn't matter how old you are. The great ones, they can still tell good stories.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's my final pick.
Nice, good one. I love it. Let's finish it off. It is now your turn.
All right. So I'm going to go unconventional here. Mania 34, New Orleans. They came back. I was there, so this means something to me. Rousey and Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Absolutely. Big build to the match. No one thought Rousey was going to be capable of putting on the match that she did. The crowd was electric during it. I had to stand up the whole entire match, sitting down below. No one sat down the whole entire half hour, whatever the hell it was. When Rousey picked Triple H over her shoulders, crowd just erupted. That was the last time that I felt that a storyline was built. You had the Rousey and Stephanie storyline built to a T. Great storyline going into it. But yeah, that's my pick and my last pick for best WrestleMania match, just because it meant something to me. Being there with the electric crowd, got them on their feet, so I dug it.
Great pick. Good match. What other thoughts do you guys have about that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vic.
Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. So I know we talked about that match a lot when it was happening live, Sid and Mike. Arguably the greatest WrestleMania, the greatest debut in wrestling history, WrestleMania history. Ronda Rousey coming in from the UFC. I think there was some expectations, but in that match, I think she surpassed them. The rest of her run may be debatable, but that match alone is a great pick. It was a great match.
Yeah, I was a fan of Ronda's run, actually, just because you never knew exactly what you were going to get from her, because there was just like a rawness to her, but at the same time, she could do stuff that nobody else could do. And WWE's president today actually made a little bit of news and said that she'll be back. He didn't give a timeline or anything like that, but I hope she does come back because I think she's got some unfinished business.
Yeah, even Becky, he said both those two will be back.
Yes.
So let's see. My cat's being freaking annoying, but great first segment. I really loved it. Now he's got my old camera all fucked up.
Classic heel tactics.
Exactly. Well, if he could go to sleep, but no, I really loved it. I thought you each did a great job kicking that off. I love the guest host. This is fucking awesome. Like two great guys that love wrestling. You can't beat that. You can't top that. When we were planning this a few weeks ago, I told Mike we need guests, and Mike agreed. And of course, we said Steve because we talk to Steve all the time. Bryan, I haven't talked to you in a long ass time. It's been a long time.
I know, man. Got 2 kids now, so
nice. Wow.
Whew, they're running around the house. Good, they're not interrupting me. One of them usually comes out at night and tries to bargain with me to sleep in my bed, and I'm like, "No, you're not sleeping in my bed, pal. Get back in there."
But what's funny is when we suggested Steve, I quickly said maybe Bryan Halpin as well, and Mike sold it. Like either he didn't see the text or he missed it or whatever. And I was like,
I missed the text, 100% missed the text.
What a heel.
I totally missed the text.
Yeah, because I said it, and then I was like, wow, what the hell? Because what happened was I was looking at our viewers or people that subscribe, and I saw that you were subscribing. I was like, holy shit, Costanza must have told him. So I thought that was cool, and I'm grateful that you watched, and I'm grateful that both of you are here tonight.
Chris Benoit would have wanted it that way.
Yes, he would have. Before we get to speaking of Costanza, he put in a question, which you apparently missed, Mike. Did you know he put a question in?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I had no clue. Like, I didn't know he's a big wrestling fan, but he put a question.
Wait, email it to us?
He says he emailed it, and I never got it.
Sent it by carrier pigeon, man.
I checked our email within the past 2 days or so, and I didn't see it.
Because you're the email guy. You're the one that's supposed to get the questions. When the fans have questions, we got to answer, and that's what we're going to do. Here we go. Who would you guys put on your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling based on popularity, technical ability, and impact? You could consider all eras, only 4, with no honorable mentions. The only caveat is Vince McMahon cannot be on it because he's a given.
All right, so we could talk about this topic for like 2 hours, so we're not going to do that. So here's what I suggest. We each name one. Yeah, starting with Sid, then we'll do the same order that we were doing before. We each name one for our Mount Rushmore. How about that?
I like it.
Good call.
Good.
All right.
I'm going with the guy who I love from my hometown of Manhasset, Chris Jericho. He's still here. He still reinvents himself. King of the Inner Circle. I got it right this time. That's my pick.
All right.
He does it all.
I'm going to go with the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He has to be there.
Good pick. Stole my pick big, but I will gladly take the excellence of execution. Bret the Hitman Hart, one of the best pure wrestlers in WWE history, 5-time champion. I mean, the resume speaks for itself.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go for the obvious one, Hulk Hogan. I mean, everyone knows his name, household name. For better or worse, they know his name, but they know his name. And he changed the sport from just a regional thing to a big, gigantic, worldwide phenomenon. So I'm going to say Hulk Hogan.
Awesome.
That's a good list.
Thank you, Costanza. Mike, be on top of those questions because we got to give back to the fans.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. Now let's do it. Let's talk about WrestleMania that's coming up. 2-night event happening in a few days, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not a huge fan of the 2-night event, but let's talk about it. How should we kick this off?
Well, there's one match on the card that I think clearly stands out that actually has had pretty good storytelling that I'm actually pretty hyped for. The Universal title match with Edge and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. That's by far the match that I'm most looking forward to. Would everyone agree that that's the best match on the card?
Yes, agreed.
Yep.
Is there another contender really for
No.
most hyped match? That's the match.
That's the match.
That is the match.
So what's the other title match?
Drew versus
and
Oh,
Lashley.
that's my match. You know what? I'm
Okay,
picking that match.
all right. Okay, tell us why you think that is your most hyped match.
Sure. I want current people. Like Edge has done it. You know, he came back. Good for him. You know, Roman's doing a fantastic job right now as a heel. You gotta love it. He's really stepped it up. Dan Bryan again. He's done it as well. No question. This is gonna be a great match. But I want the new people. That's what I like. I like when new people run with the championship, and I want long runs. And Drew McIntyre got fucked last year because of COVID. A lot of people got fucked, but he didn't get his real WrestleMania moment. He couldn't win in front of the fans. Like, just think about it. Him being Brock at WrestleMania is a huge fucking deal.
Yeah.
Like Brock doesn't lose at WrestleMania. So for him to do that and the build up to that, like that when he kicked him out of the Claymore kicked him out of the ring at Royal Rumble, and then he won. That was a great build-up.
Yeah,
like, I was looking forward to it. So I was disappointed that he didn't get his WrestleMania moment. So now he's going to get it. The fans are going to be there. Another guy, Bobby Lashley. Like, he's a guy that has never won the big one. So he finally wins it, right? He's finally champion, and they're doing a great job with him. Like, he deserves it. And, you know, they've been not setting up, but for many, many years, the dream match has been Lashley versus Brock.
Exactly. That's why I'm surprised what you're saying. Like, are you sure that McIntyre's going to get his WrestleMania moment here? Because
I am.
Crowds are going to be back probably by SummerSlam. Wouldn't it be perfect, headlining SummerSlam, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar?
And that could happen. Drew could still win. He could get, you know, Lashley could get screwed by Brock. Like, Brock may come out, distract him, Claymore kick. Anything could happen. But WrestleMania moment doesn't mean you have to win. Like, literally, not Lashley, but McIntyre could come out first. That could be the first match on Saturday.
Yeah, it could.
Because fans haven't been at a wrestling pay-per-view in a long time. So just think how crazy they're going to go when his music kicks. Like, that could be WrestleMania moment there. Like, that could be what he needs. So, I mean, Lashley could still win. Because with this match, I don't know who's going to win. With the DB match, I think Edge is going to win. Like, I'm really confident Edge is going to win.
Do we want to talk about that match now? Or do we want to get into that match? Because there's a lot to talk about with that.
Yeah, well, let's get to it. But I want to disagree. I'm really looking forward to Bobby Lashley.
I'm looking forward to that as well. I don't know who's going to win that either. I think it could go either way. It depends on what kind of story they want to tell, what their plans are for the rest of the year. You could make a case for Drew McIntyre getting his moment in front of the fans.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's probably what'll happen. But you could also make this case that Lashley is going to go on this run and run into Brock Lesnar somewhere down the line.
Let me ask you this: what was the deal with the Hurt business being broken up like 2 weeks before Mania?
Terrible,
like, I don't
terrible
understand.
Another
like,
Vince McMahon, whatever the fuck he wants to do, he made that decision.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's apparently real. He decided
That's really stupid. But he's still with MVP, right?
MVP is still his manager, but the stable's dead. I mean,
it's a great stable.
Other than, that was the best thing that was going on in Raw, and Raw's been bad, but Hurt business was pretty good.
Yeah, now they're just hurt, I think. They don't want to hurt business. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lashley getting the title for only a month is kind of a disservice to him.
What about the Miz only having the title for a week?
I would rather keep the title on Miz and just let McIntyre get it from him at Mania if that was going to be the case. But giving it only to Lashley for a month and then Lashley kicking ass during this title run, I really like his heel persona. He was terrible as a face, garbage. But this is really good. I love this side of Lashley. I would love him to keep the title. I really don't like Drew that much. It could just be without the fans that maybe I'm just like, just not digging it, but I don't like Drew as a face. I like Lashley as a heel. I think that he should keep it. Kind of what you mentioned, Mike, let that big match, SummerSlam sizzle a little bit, get Brock and like McIntyre in there, possibly for the title, get McIntyre maybe in those, like Money in the Bank pay-per-views or something like that, win the title back or something like that from Lashley. But I don't think I want Lashley as the champ. I think I want Lashley as the champ come end of WrestleMania night.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I agree with you.
That's the appeal for me because I'm torn. I want Lashley to have a long run. I want McIntyre to have his WrestleMania moment. I want him to have the belt. Like, that's why, like, I'm so nervous for this match. Like, I just want to see what's happening. It's killing me because I don't know which way it's going to go. Like, I'm really invested in it. And I think last week they did a really good job setting up this match. Like, I think they're working really well together. So I want to see it going. I want to see what's going to happen. I'm excited. Yeah, let's see what happens. Do you guys think it could be
Steve, do you have any thoughts on this match?
I mean, I'm kind of with Bryan in that I haven't really grasped Drew as a face. Maybe I like him more as a heel.
He was a good heel.
I'm just not I'm just not like invested in him. I don't know why. I can't really put a finger on it. I mean, he's good in the ring. He's got good entrance. He's got good, he looks good. I'm just not invested for whatever reason. Lashley's been great as a heel. I love MVP as the mouthpiece. He's funny. He's so good. I could see it going either way. I think that Vince wants to give McIntyre that moment with the fans back in the crowd. I think that's the way it'll end up going. But it could easily go the other way.
I'd probably lean towards that. Yeah.
But one thing I would add, and I was listening to Busted Open, and Bully made a good point. In wrestling, you don't always get what you deserve. It's always what's best for business. Like Vince, obviously he wants to support Drew, but again, he's going to do what's best for business. Just because he didn't have that experience doesn't mean he's going to get it. And that's what happens in wrestling. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yep. So why don't we dive into the other big match, the Universal title match. Now, this was a match I thought a couple months ago, it looked kind of obvious what was going to happen. Edge came back, like a year and a half ago at the Royal Rumble. He had his feud with Randy Orton, the greatest match of all time. And then he got hurt. And he came back from his injury. He came back at the Royal Rumble, was the first entrant, outlasted everyone, won the Royal Rumble. It was awesome. He reunited with Christian, who betrayed him and went to AEW.
I love it.
And Edge never lost his title. That was the storyline. He was going to get back because he had to retire. He was going to get back the title that he never lost. Very simple story. If that's the story that you're going to tell, WrestleMania, come on, like it's very simple storytelling. Edge gets his title back at WrestleMania. That's how I thought it was going to go. But for whatever reason, Daniel Bryan worked his way into this match, which I don't necessarily have a problem with because I'm a fan of Daniel Bryan. He was awesome at the Elimination Chamber. He's been doing some of the best work. He always does great work. He's been great. And there's been talk that, this could be one of his last WrestleManias. He's getting up there in age. He could retire soon. You never know with Daniel Bryan when you're going to get his last match.
Go to AEW.
So now that you insert Daniel Bryan into this, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who the favorite is. And what I would do if I were Vince McMahon, and I would bet on this, is Roman Reigns has just been so hot as a heel. He's just been killing it. Why don't you just keep the title on him? I think that's the move here. What do you guys think? I
agree with you, Big. I think he's the man right now in WWE. I mean, I don't know how you take the title off of him. I think you got to keep running with him. The heel turn has been, I know probably all four of us have been begging for that for years with him, and it's come and it's good. And we all knew it would be good when it got here, and it's been damn good.
And you know what you could really do with this match is you could turn it into a grudge match between Edge and Bryan. That could be the fallout. They each cost each other the match.
Yep.
And then you get a series out of those two, which I would love to see.
Yeah.
Is this a Sunday match?
I think it is a Sunday match. Yeah.
So it's probably going to close WrestleMania, right? Unless
it will.
Generally, don't you want a new champion?
There's only been one WrestleMania where the heel left, and that was WrestleMania 2000, where Triple H retained. So chances are you're
good trivia there.
You're going to have a face win it. But kind of what Mike was saying, that the best decision would be get Roman with this, because he can go another year with this, especially with the crowd. You want a crowd just like booing him, like a real crowd booing him. That's kind of what everyone wanted, to get that visceral reaction out of everybody. But
Yeah.
I can also see it going the total opposite direction where Bryan wins it. I don't see Edge winning it at all. Kind of what Mike was saying too. I saw Edge winning it until Bryan got inserted, but then Edge turned heel. Now you're gonna have Bryan. They probably want all the fans, doing the little yes chant throughout the whole stadium. I could also see that going. My gut says Bryan, but I could see it going with Roman too. But I say Bryan.
Let's make predictions. He says Bryan. Who do you say? Mike, who do you pick?
I'm gonna go with Roman. I think maybe the reason they inserted Bryan into this match is to split the fan base, so that part of the fan base is behind Edge, part of the fan base is behind Bryan, and so Roman can win. I mean, okay. I think they're learning from past mistakes with Roman.
Steve, prediction?
Roman. I think Bryan is in there. He's going to take the pin. I think Edge may still get the title, maybe later, maybe during the summer or something. I think he'll get one more title run, but I think you keep it on Roman for now and just keep a good thing going.
All right. I was right about the Super Bowl. I'm going to be right about this. Edge is going to pin Daniel Bryan. That's why I was inserted. He's going to take the pin. This way, Roman still looks strong. You can continue that feud, but I think Edge will walk out.
And Bryan, you think Daniel's going to win?
Yep, I think Daniel Bryan's going to win.
So we got 2 for Roman, we got 1 for Bryan, we got 1 for Edge. So I think this match is really a toss-up, which is what I think makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Totally.
But you know what also I was going to say? If Edge loses, he's going to say, fuck you, Vince. I'm joining Christian. I'm going home. I'm going to AEW. So what else match do we... I don't want to really talk about every single match because there's some bad matches in this card.
Yeah.
Like who
Bad
wants
Bunny?
Bad Bunny, exactly. Good segue. Like I get it. They're trying to bring more people into the business, get more fans. It's WrestleMania. You don't have to attract more people. People are gonna tune in. But obviously you want to see AJ wrestle, right? He's one of the best ever. But what is this freaking tag match? I don't want to talk about that. What more matches do you guys want to talk about? What's interesting, you guys? What's piquing your interest?
I would say Crispy Wyatt and Orton.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that?
Go for it. Lead it off, Bryan.
All right. I mean, this is a long, long feud, and this is a good storytelling right here. I mean, when do they face off? Orlando 33 is when they first faced off, Wyatt and Orton. And okay feud, because Orton was teasing being in the Wyatt family at the time. Now it's come full circle again, where this feud has lasted at least 6-7 months. It lasted half the summer, etc. But yeah, I mean, I see Wyatt going over very easily in this match. They can't keep the crispy Wyatt gimmick going for a while. He's going to have to go back to probably Bray Wyatt at some point down the road. I don't see him keep going with this Fiend thing. The way that they booked the Fiend, it's kind of in a corner right now where he's only really a special attraction. I like it a lot, but I don't think this is going to go long term in terms of his character build and whatnot. But I totally say Fiend in this match against Orton. Orton doesn't really need the win. He's strong. But yeah, Fiend all the way.
Yeah, I totally agree. Fiend is going to win this match.
They better have a great match. Again, this is long-term storytelling. I agree with you, but I'm hoping for a solid match. But you know who's really benefited from this? Alexa Bliss.
She's been great. She has been great in this.
The Fiend was gone for a while because, again, he got burned to the crisp, as Bryan was talking about. And she stepped up. She's doing such a fantastic job. I love it. But I'm worried. Where does this go afterwards? When this feud is over, is she still around? I hope you don't completely forget about her because she stepped up. And she used to be a good champion. I liked her. I've always liked her. And I think she should be involved again. And I'm glad to see her having a significant role going to WrestleMania.
She's one of those wrestlers who I could see.
You guys hoping for?
Sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Let our guests go first. Come on. Show some.
Okay. Were any of you guys hoping that this was going to be another Firefly Funhouse match similar to Cena's last year? I thought that was pretty entertaining. I was kind of hoping they were going to go that route.
That was entertaining.
I was kind of hoping that.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't work well with the live crowd again.
Yeah.
If it was another COVID empty arena, it would have been fine. But there's a crowd there, so it's got to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just you always hope for some kind of really special RKO in a Randy Orton WrestleMania match. So I don't know what he can do, but something where the Fiend just completely no sells an RKO might work. And Alexa, I was gonna say with Alexa is she's one of those who I could see going on to having a successful Hollywood career. I think she's really good. She's been really good in these segments. I would love to see her in like some kind of horror movie, some kind of like Final Destination movie. I think she could be really good.
Maybe a good porno flick.
Boinking Ryan Cabrera.
That's right.
Oh.
Great ass.
Biscuit butt.
I hope your kids are not watching, Brian.
No,
are they into? Have you introduced them to wrestling yet? Or are they too young for that?
So one of them is 19 months old, so he doesn't know what the hell is going on in life. Right. And then my oldest one, Liam, he is 5, going to be 6 in October. He does know wrestling somewhat, but he just gets too insane and starts bouncing off the freaking walls whenever I show it to him. So I'm like, all right, we'll watch the Royal Rumble tomorrow or something like that. And then he'll probably forget about it tomorrow. But yeah, no, I've introduced it to him, but he usually goes to bed around like 8:30 or something like that. So a little too late for him, but he goes nuts whenever I show it to him.
Cool.
Steve is awesome with that. He has got his whole family hooked in wrestling. Like all the kids, they will love it. Like, talk about that, Steve.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had my nephews hooked since they were little. They've kind of fallen off in the last year, and it might be because of COVID. I don't know. Maybe same as me. One is Anthony is going to be 13 this year, and Jaden is going to be 17. So maybe they're growing out of it. I hope not. I mean, I love to see them stay in it and involved with it. But I've gotten Rosie, my daughter, she loves it. And if I wanted to segue to the match that I'm looking forward to, which involves 2 of her favorite wrestlers. Okay. Sasha Banks has been her favorite since I introduced her to WWE. And Bianca Belair.
Is it boss time?
It's boss time in this house.
Yes.
Yeah, it's boss time here. And she loves Bianca. That's probably her new favorite. So I asked her the other day who she was rooting for, and she couldn't give me a straight answer. She said Sasha at first, and then she said, well, maybe I kind of like Bianca a little more. So it's a toss-up. I'm looking forward to this match. I love Bianca's athletic ability. I think she's phenomenal. Sky's the limit for her.
She's insanely talented.
Yeah, she's so good. She has a lot of potential to be something special. And Sasha's Sasha. I mean, she's always good. You can bank on a good match all the time.
I like that.
And I have a little trivia question. Something I read in an article this week. It might have been on Bleacher Report. I don't remember where it was, but there's only been 5 wrestlers that have won a championship in their first WrestleMania match, which Bianca can do. She can join this list if she wins on Saturday. I don't know if you guys saw the article, but do you know?
I did not see the article.
You want to make
5
any
wrestlers?
Guesses?
Let's see.
Then Brock? No, I don't know.
Did Cena?
Cena is one. Yeah,
Brock,
20 against Big Show.
Brock is one. I think.
Brock did not win.
No.
In his first Mania match.
Right.
And we're talking about world title. Or any championship. Any championship or a world title?
So this is any title.
Any title.
There's other titles.
Any title.
Damn. I'm stumped.
So Sid, your favorite wrestlers on the list, Sid?
Jericho,
WrestleMania 2000. It was Angle, Benoit, and Jericho. Remember 2 falls? There was 2 titles on.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
He won the European title.
Nice.
How about Randy Orton?
Orton is not on the list.
Oh, easy.
Benoit.
Oh shit.
Benoit not on the list.
Oh, it's easy. The Great Khali.
He should be on the list. Joe Duffy would love that.
You would love that.
The other ones are Edge and Christian, WrestleMania 2000.
Okay.
They won the tag titles. And Hall of Famer RVD.
Oh,
RVD,
wow.
I never would have guessed RVD.
Yeah,
That's
he
awesome.
won the IC title from William Regal at WrestleMania 18.
Nice.
Yep. So
That's
pretty
some good
cool.
trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Good job, Steve.
But no, I'm glad you brought the women. We have given the women no love, which is not fair. Like the women have been
Well, we
doing a
gave
fantastic
Alexa
job for a long
Bliss
time.
some love.
Yeah, I guess so. But she's not
Her ass
wrestling.
get some love.
Yeah, her ass did get some love. But no, like the WWE does have some great women talent. So I think it's appropriate we talk about them. First of all, Bayley has no match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's
with that?
crazy.
Mhm.
That's horrible.
I think
Yeah,
she'll
and it-
cost Sasha the title. I think
so?
that's how it's going to go. Yep.
Yeah, that could be it. Now back to the Sasha match. Is that Sunday as well?
That's
You know,
Saturday.
That's
So
Saturday.
that could close the show Saturday if they choose not to do McIntyre and Lashley. But I could see them doing Sasha and Bianca last.
Yeah, no, I think I could see that.
Now,
That
for
makes
me,
sense.
if Bianca does not win that match, they're making a big mistake. I think she has to win this match.
She will. She'll definitely win.
Yeah.
I predicted her winning the Rumble, which I don't think was a surprise to a lot of people, but I'm glad she did. I think she'll win it. It'll be interesting to see what she does with the title. Again, you're gonna be nervous as hell. Like your first main event WrestleMania potentially winning the title. Like I'm curious to see how she does. I think she'll do great. And Banks, she'll carry her. She'll help. I think she'll help her during the match, and I think it'll be a phenomenal match.
You hope so. I think
EST, baby.
I think Sasha has matured over the past couple years or so, but it's just a couple years ago. Her and Bayley lost the women's tag titles at WrestleMania, and there was all this drama. And they were pissed. They did not want to drop those titles. And they were all. And you remember Sasha left the company for 6 months or whatever. She refused to work. So I hope that she's matured since then. You hope that she makes Bianca look good,
because those titles are probably the most prestigious titles in wrestling, the women's tag team titles.
Well,
so I could see them being pissed when they lost it.
Well, they were the ones that lobbied Vince to create those titles, so they felt that they were their titles. They really felt an attachment to those titles, and they were pissed to have to. And it was kind of a random match at WrestleMania. It wasn't. There was no build up to it. It was multiple tag teams involved in it. So yeah, they were really mad at that. And then there was supposedly, her and Alexa Bliss have always supposedly had issues in the locker room.
Because they're competing for best ass. I get it.
Bailey's a butterface. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. So what else is on this card that's worth mentioning?
Oh,
well,
God. You got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Oh yes,
let's talk about that because I want to talk about this match.
Go for it. You want to talk about it? Let's hear it.
Well, I was going to talk about. I brought it up earlier in the episode with long-term storytelling. They're just giving us a Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens match with no story. They just what the hell? Hey,
you got that YouTube guy in there. Come on.
Yeah,
you do. That's right. Did you know that, Mike?
No. Logan or whatever.
Yeah.
I did know that, but yeah, you don't really. That's kind of I think why they're doing it. You don't really need a story because there's so much backstory with these guys. Whoever does is involved in making the promo packages for matches at WWE. Those guys are great. They'll get all the clips they'll get all the from Ring of Honor. They'll get clips. There'll be a great video package for this match. But the build for this match has been very lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
And you would love to see a year-long Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens could tell a multi-year story. And it building up to the match, and it would be awesome. But they're not doing that here, which I think is a shame because I don't think they've had. I don't think they've had a big match in WWE. I don't think. Obviously in NXT they did, but have they really had a big feud since they've been called up to the main roster?
No, I don't think so.
So this is a big match. This is a big deal.
It is.
Yeah. But the thing, what's confusing me is they're making it seem like Logan Paul is going to turn on what's his name.
Who cares?
But why? Why is he turning on Sammy? Like, that's the story that they're hinting at. Like, what's the deal? Like, are we gonna have a Sammy versus Logan Paul match in the future? Like, who needs that? but I don't know if you guys have noticed, they're having extra clips on social media. Like, Sammy's going to visit Logan Paul, and Logan Paul's like being nice to him. So I don't know what the hell, but I feel like this is another thing where they're trying to get more fans into the business. And obviously, Logan Paul gets a lot of views, and I think he's gonna be around till SummerSlam. I could truly see a Sammy versus Logan Paul SummerSlam.
Oh no,
it's gonna happen. Unfortunately, they're doing it. I'm sorry.
I gotta question that because like Logan Paul, like the views that he gets on YouTube like dwarf like the amount of people who watch like Monday Night Raw, right? He's gonna see the ratings for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. He's gonna be like, "What am I doing? Like I can just stick to YouTube, right?"
But yeah, that's puzzling. But they're gonna put on a good match.
I hope it's a great match. It really kind of depends how much time they get, right? I mean, they could put on a classic. I mean, all they need is 8-10 minutes.
I was gonna say that maybe get 8 to 10 minutes, and that's all they need.
They could do it. Yeah.
Is there any other matches? Go ahead.
I mean, the other dark horse match would be like Cesaro and Rollins.
Yeah.
That's got a nice build to it. That's one of the few matches that have actually had a nice build over the few months. So,
all right. So I was actually going to ask about that because I have not been watching as much lately. What is the build to that match? Because I'm not familiar with it.
So Rollins came back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He came back. He's again like he's the disciple. Or he's not the disciple. Whatever. Like
the Messiah, right?
The Messiah, whatever the hell he is, and he's just like talking shit to like the whole locker room, right? He's just trying to get everyone on his side. And Cesaro comes down and basically says, "No, I'm not going to play that game." So they've been feuding. Because Cesaro, I thought should have won the title, not the title, but I thought he should have won either Royal Rumble. Like I was really hoping for a big Cesaro push at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But he had a fantastic match during Elimination Chamber. Like he did great. So like I think they're finally giving him a nice singles run. Rollins been gone for a while, so they've been building that feud a little bit, and I think they're doing a good job working with each other. And I just can't wait to see the match because I know they'll put on a good match.
Yeah, it'll be another good 8 to 10 minute. Maybe they'll get a little more because it's Rollins, but it'll be a really good wrestling match. I know we expect that out of Cesaro and Rollins are two of the best in the business, so I think it'll be pretty entertaining.
Do you think Cesaro gets that win?
Yeah,
I could. Yeah,
I hope he does.
Either way, I mean, yeah, I could see it going either way. I think Rollins will be fine losing. I'd like to see Cesaro get the win.
It's that big push from Mania 30 Andre Battle Royal.
Yeah,
6 years
later.
later.
Yes.
Yeah.
6 years later, it's coming true.
I mean, Seth is kind of like a low-key Roman. I mean, people don't complain about it, but does Seth ever lose big matches? Like, when did he ever lose? When's the last time he lost?
He lost to Owens last year at Mania, didn't he? Or did
he did.
Yeah.
Yes. He did.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay, that was actually a good match. I forgot who
good.
won that match, but that was one of the better matches at last year's Mania.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they might steal the show. Like Cesaro's gonna bring it. Like he truly believes, and he's cut some great promos. Like for a guy that's not that he's not American, but for a guy who you can tell is his second language potentially, he's got a little gap when he talks, but he's doing a fantastic job to his promos. Like he's really selling you on it. Like he is trying to show people that this is his time. It's time that he gets a recognition, and the wrestlers are all behind him. They all love him. Like he's a big fan favorite in the locker room.
Yeah, so, the other thing, Seth and Cesaro are real life really good friends.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they're going to work this match out, and I would bet that Seth is going to lobby for Cesaro to get the win here.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Right.
Cesaro all the way.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a title shot one day. It'll be nice. Like he's a guy that deserves it.
He does.
Yeah.
And would have wanted it that way.
Yeah, I mean, even like an IC title reign, I would like to see with Cesaro. With Cesaro versus Big E, that would be a good feud.
Yeah, that would be
Dig
good.
that.
Big E better not lose, by the way. I am not digging this African drum, Nigerian, whatever the hell.
All right, let's talk about this one now. Let's go.
Nigeria drum match.
Big E versus
what the hell? Like, how many times does Apollo have to lose? He's lost like 8 times for the IC belt. Why does he deserve, or the United States belt? Whatever the fuck belt it is. But like he keeps losing. He keeps getting opportunities. All of a sudden his voice is different. He's got a Nigerian accent now. Like, where did that come from? But like Big E's another guy who deserves a world heavyweight championship. Like he deserves it.
Sure.
That might be why I could see him dropping the title.
Yeah, Apollo Crews is gonna go. Yeah, I mean he's gonna go all the way with it. Yeah, I mean it's a Nigerian drum match, man. Come on, he's got to win.
I mean, I like that Apollo is getting attention. I like that they're doing something. I mean, this is, you know, like it or hate it, this is the most interesting his character has been in
they've given him something to work with. He's not just some guy.
Yeah.
You know.
And I was telling Mike, like the first Nigerian drum match was fantastic. WrestleMania 7.
Who was in that one? Was it Akeem the African Dream?
Yes. So let's see if they top that.
That this card is sucky. That's the only crap that, you know, is worth mentioning, I think.
Yeah. Did you guys know that? So the Shane Braun match, the steel cage match, this is only the second, not counting Hell in a Cell. That's something different. This is only the second steel cage match in WrestleMania history. Isn't that
really?
crazy?
Yeah, first one was Bundy and Hogan.
Yeah,
WrestleMania 2.
Yep.
Because I think like ever since they introduced the Hell in a Cell, it's WrestleMania. We do Hell in a Cell. We don't do steel cage.
Right.
Get
nice
Big Blue
something
back.
different. Yeah,
that is interesting. I saw, who was it? The dirt sheet writer Sean Ross Sapp said, okay, the finish to this match, because Shane it's how is Shane gonna make Braun look like an idiot and trick him and
take a huge bump in the process.
Exactly. So it's gonna be what was it? You saw the tweet, right?
Braun throws him off the top of the cage and through a table.
Yes. So and then Shane wins because he exits the cage. Yeah.
Well, Shane's the greatest wrestler of all time, right? He won that match.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did win the trophy in Saudi Arabia.
Greatest wrestler in the world.
That's right, best in the world.
You truly love to see it.
All right, so one match I wanted to talk about was the other women's title match, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Now, this is a match on paper should be very good. They're both extremely talented. Asuka's had the title for a while. Rhea was an NXT champion. She was, I believe, the first ever NXT UK women's champion. She just got called up to the roster, and she gets called up, and the first thing she does is demand a title match with Asuka, and she gets it. It's like, that is just total bullshit. Like, that should never happen. Like, I like Rhea a lot. She's extremely talented. Why didn't you have her win an Elimination Chamber or like a gauntlet match? You have all these crappy episodes of Raw. You could easily do something like that. Have her earn the title match with Asuka. I don't understand why they didn't do something like that. What do you guys think?
I agree with you.
I think the plan was supposed to be Asuka and Charlotte again, but then Charlotte, I think, got COVID, if I'm mistaken. Yep. So I think that was the reason why they did that, because she would have had to quarantine for just like 2 weeks, and then the build would have only been a week. So I think they were scrambling to find something for this. So that's kind of why they put Ripley into this.
Okay. And there were also rumors her fiance Andrade just recently got his release from the company.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some rumors that maybe WWE wasn't and Charlotte Flair were maybe not on good terms. I don't know if there were any truth to those rumors. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Because the other thing is, she's royalty, right? So you don't want to piss off Charlotte. And they also granted him an immediate release, which does not happen, especially when you have competition like AEW. So I think they wanted to make her happy. That's the only reason why they said we'll give him an immediate release, because they figured she might complain about that, rightfully so. So yeah, I agree with Bryan that maybe they just struggled, but still, even if they struggled to quickly make a new match, they could have been some build, like Mike said.
Yeah.
They could have won, like Mike said. Like
they could have done a gauntlet match on a Raw.
Exactly.
They do that. I mean, they could have taken up an hour of Raw, and it would have been great because they need to fill time on Raw. I don't know why they didn't do something like that.
Yeah, I see Ripley going over with this one.
You really?
Yeah, Asuka's
agree.
held it for almost a year now. So
Yeah.
and I watched some guy today on YouTube talking about Asuka's title reign and goes, great title reign, but when's the last time that you could remember a great Asuka title match during this actual like reign that she had? There hasn't really been any.
Yeah.
She's been too preoccupied in the tag title feud with Charlotte when she's the actual champ. So they haven't really done the Raw Women's Champion service. They've done her a disservice with this whole thing. So I see Rhea Ripley going over, Asuka, year-long feud, year-long reign basically. So Rhea's going over.
So let me tell you what I would love to see here. You had last year after WrestleMania, Becky Lynch defended her title against Shayna Baszler, and then she announced that she was pregnant and she had to relinquish her title. And they had that Money in the Bank match, which was like a cinematic match where they're climbing up the WWE headquarters. Asuka wins it, and it turns out it's not a Money in the Bank contract. It's the Raw Women's Championship, and this was Becky's doing. Like, she wanted this. So I'm a Becky Lynch mark. I've got the man shirt on. I've got my Becky Lynch Funko Pop here. What I would love to see is Asuka defend. I would love to see her beat Rhea Ripley here, and then Becky make her comeback at the end of the match, confront Asuka, and set that program up. That could happen at SummerSlam.
That'd be good. I'd love to see that.
I could dig that.
Yeah.
I'll take it a step further. They could still do that, but they can also give Rhea the belt. Because I think last year she had a fantastic match at WrestleMania against Charlotte. I thought she was going to win. And I think fans were disappointed that she did not win. And Triple H said she'll get her story. This is a long-term storytelling. It didn't work out that way, but I think at the end she'll get the title this time because I was disappointed last year. So I think you can make Mike happy. You can still have Becky come out afterwards, set up a non-title feud, and you can give Rhea the title run. But let's see what happens.
All right, that could work.
Yeah, maybe Becky costs Asuka the match.
Ooh, I don't want Becky turning heel, though.
Everyone's turning heel now. It's the cool thing to do.
That's right.
So I think we've covered most of the matches worth mentioning. Is there anything else, any other match for some reason you guys want to talk about? Any other
tidbits? Anyone see the Hall of Fame ceremony last night?
Great question.
Oh my God. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty unbearable without fan. Like, just so, I don't know.
It felt like I was watching like 2.5 Men with like the piped in laughter.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And the piped in cheers. After the Bellas gave their speech, there was a chant of one more match.
I texted that to these guys. It was so bad.
That is cringe.
It is so bad. Like the speeches were actually halfway decent. I didn't mind them. They were actually short and to the point.
Yeah, very true.
And I would like that going forward, but it was just the piped in music and the piped in crowd. Terrible, unbearable to watch.
Apparently they recorded this like the pipe in like 2-3 weeks ago. Did you guys hear this?
They did. Yeah. They filmed. They told the fans in attendance at Raw in the Thunderdome a couple weeks ago, like during the commercial breaks, like, okay, can you guys like clap a little bit? Can you guys act surprised? Can you laugh a little bit? So that was all pre-recorded audience material from a couple weeks back. So that's also what led to it being just disgusting and just gross to watch.
You know, I just feel bad because a lot of these guys and gals were supposed to get in last year, right? So it didn't happen. So you would think they would have pushed it and done it during a fan time when there's fans. Like, why not during SummerSlam? Why couldn't they wait and do it later? Why did it have to happen this week? Like, you already waited a year. Like, what's the point?
I'm with
you.
So Brian, are you saying that they used like fan reactions that they recorded it and then matched it to the Hall of Fame? Like that they were not reacting to the Hall of Fame. They just That's
so yeah. They were just reacting to. They were reacting to nothing. They, you know,
it was pretty obvious too.
Half the time it didn't even match. Whatever they were clapping, it didn't even match.
Yeah,
that's awful.
I saw it online. I was like, "How is that going to work?" Well, apparently it didn't work.
Yeah, there was ones where they were like laughing, but it was like you could tell it was like fake. I mean, you could tell it was planned.
But I remember like JBL was trying to tell a story, and usually when you're looking for a laugh, like in normal conversation, like you kind of like pause a little bit, the fans laugh, and then you kind of continue. JBL was telling his speech. He was saying like something funny. They piped in crowd laughter, but he was still going on with the speech because it's all post-production. So
Right.
it was just so sloppy.
Yeah. I wish they would have waited till there was fans.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was kind of looking forward to his speech, JBL's, and also Bischoff. So I haven't seen it. I might just check it out just for those two.
Who gave the best speech?
Kane, I think, gave a pretty good speech at the end. He it was like heartfelt. It didn't feel too rushed. Kind of gave his thanks to everybody. But yeah, Kane gave a really good speech.
I thought RVD's was really good. His was, I think RVD's was probably the longest. Maybe that's why I liked it the best. It was like more than 2 minutes, and he was able to, tell some a few good stories. I liked RVD's the best.
Nice. I'll have to check out the clips. I completely forgot that JBL even made it. Like when you said JBL was there, I thought he was like leading off the thing because I guess he got in last year. Technically, is that what happened? Was he last year?
Last year. Yeah.
So I completely forgot. I was like, what is JBL doing there?
And he called everyone a snowflake in the.
Really?
Yeah. It was great.
And did NWO get inducted?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who gave the speech for them?
All of them did. 6 X-Pac, Hall, Nash, and then like Hogan like ended it. But yeah, they all kind of gave their like little spiel.
Were they all like standing next to each other, or were they like? Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
6 X-Pac is actually one of my favorite wrestlers.
Oh, he's a great wrestler.
Yeah, phenomenal.
I think one of the biggest mistakes WCW made was firing him. I think Bishop.
That helped turn the tides of the Monday Night Wars. Someone said.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's amazing how many of like the smaller guys, like the cruiserweights on WCW, like ended up being huge stars for WWF.
That's a good point.
Oh yeah. The vanilla midgets, as Kevin Nash would say.
Yeah, Noble. Takeover. Who watched that?
I just finished watching it.
I think it's probably on right now. I don't know.
Yeah, it was good.
I'll check out tomorrow because I was watching AW today. But
Ciampa versus Walter is awesome. You should watch
it was really good.
Yeah,
that was a good match.
Was Walter the champ?
Walter's the NXT UK champ, longest reigning any champion in
almost
modern
for
history.
2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yep.
And whatever that match was, the gauntlet match for the North American title, the winner is going to face Johnny Gargano tomorrow night. That was also a good match. That was a good time.
That was good.
Who won?
Bronson. What's his name?
Is it Bronson Reed?
Something like that. I think
Bronson Arroyo. The pitcher
Bronson Arroyo.
Yeah, Bronson Arroyo. Big guy. So it's going to be, Gargano, little guy versus him.
Yeah, it'll be a good match.
Always good storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, I think this is the longest episode in the history of Hate to See It.
Definitely is.
Which is fitting. Fatal 4-way. 2 special guests. Chris Benoit would have loved it.
Ready, baby.
But, you guys did fantastic. Like, what awesome guests. You couldn't ask for anyone better.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime.
Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. It was a good time. We might have to do this for SummerSlam if you guys are
absolutely
interested. That might be a good time to have you guys back.
We might need a 5th person at that point.
Oh man,
5-way.
Fatal 5-way.
Fatal 5-way. Maybe Chris Benoit will come back. Maybe it was
the long con. The long-term storytelling that we love to see.
Oh man. But I can't wait. Saturday, Sunday, WrestleMania. I hope it's good. I hope it's not too long. Last question I had. Do you guys like the 2-night format or no? You prefer 1 night?
If you asked me 10 years ago, I'd probably say no. But when they started getting to, I remember the one in Dallas, I think it was 32, where The Rock came out with a flamethrower and it was already like 11:30 at night. And there was still like 2 matches left. I was like, what the hell is happening? It's like, I've never seen a Mania go this long and I'm freaking tired. Once they started going that long, I think it just makes sense that if they want to have this many wrestlers on a card and this many matches, it just makes sense to split it. So
100% agree with you, Steve.
Yeah.
I would say probably going there live, I would prefer 1 night just because they're trying to make this. If you look at the 2 cards, the second night is like the most stacked card. So they're trying to make that last night more stacked. But going there live, I would prefer 1 night just from a pure financial standpoint. I'm not having to buy 2 nights there because most people are traveling there. They're not local. But yeah, I mean, from a viewer standpoint, 2 nights is good. Just like Steve's point, like I just want it short and sweet, 2.5, 3 hours. You know,
Me too.
get me home by 10:30. I'm good, and then I got the next night to like watch it. So yeah, I like the 2 nights from a fan at home perspective.
Yeah.
Guys,
agree.
guess what? 2 years, you're all coming down. You're going to LA. You're going to see the WrestleMania. It's happening.
I'm
In
already
2
gonna
years.
get my ticket right now, baby.
Let's
ringside.
do it.
We gotta go ringside though.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
do
man.
it. No, we have to go.
Oh, I definitely want to go.
Absolutely.
It's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It's happening for the head of the table.
That would
So
be
good.
awesome. That would be awesome.
So good.
Hopefully the podcast is still then. We're still going strong then, but let's plan it. Let's do it. But gentlemen, thanks so much. Great
Thank
episode.
you guys.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks
been
for having
real,
us.
folks. It's been
Too
real,
sweet.
gents.
It was too sweet.
Boop, too sweet.
Enjoy
Peace out,
Mania.
boys.
See
Yeah.
ya.
All right, enjoy
take care.
Mania, guys. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.